Hello everyone and welcome back to Dassi Insights. Today I want to talk about a book that completely changed the way I think about focus, productivity, stress, and even conversations at work. The book is Your Brain at Work by David Rock. It's one of those books that makes you look at your daily habits and realize that a lot of what we call laziness, lack of focus, or poor time management is actually just the brain doing what the brain naturally does. Before we get into it, if you enjoy simple book summaries that help you learn faster and work smarter, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. One of the biggest ideas in the book is that your brain has limited resources. We often act as if our brain is an unlimited machine that can think clearly all day long, make great decisions, handle constant emails, jump between meetings, and still be creative at the end of the day. According to David Rock, that's not how the brain works at all. He explains that the part of the brain responsible for conscious thinking and decision making has very limited capacity. Think of it like a small stage. Only a few actors can stand on that stage at the same time. Every task, decision, problem, or piece of information takes up space on that stage. This means when you are trying to remember several things, answer messages, think about the project, and solve a problem all at once, the stage becomes crowded. As a result, your thinking becomes slower and less accurate. That's why sometimes you walk into a room and forget why you want to be here. That's why you open your computer to do one thing and suddenly find yourself answering emails 20 minutes later. The brain can only hold so much information in active attention at one time. Another important lesson from the book is that multitasking is mostly a myth. A lot of us take pride in being good multitaskers. We think we are answering messages while listening in a meeting and reviewing a document at the same time. But David Rock explains that the brain isn't really doing multi-complex tasks at once. What it's actually doing is switching rapidly between tasks. Every switch comes with a cost. The brain has to stop one activity, load another, and then return again. That process uses energy and creates mental fatigue. This is why a day full of interruptions can feel exhausting even when you haven't done anything physically demanding. Your brain spends the entire day switching gears. The book suggests reducing distractions whenever possible. Instead of checking email every few minutes, handle it in batches. Instead of constantly looking at notifications, create periods where you can focus on one thing. The next idea is about decision fatigue. Every decision uses mental energy. Big decisions use more energy, but even small choices add up. What should I work on first? Should I answer this email now or later? Should I attend this meeting? What do I eat for lunch? By the end of the day, the brain can become overloaded from making too many decisions. That's one reason people often make poorer choices when they are tired. David Rock recommends doing your most important thinking when your mental energy is highest. For many people, that's early in the day. Instead of spending your best brain hours answering emails or doing routine work, use them for complex thinking, planning, writing, problem solving, or anything that requires real concentrations. This idea sounds simple, but it's powerful. Many people spend their precious hours reacting to other people's priorities and then try to do important work when their brain is already tired. The book also talks a lot about attention. According to David Rock, attention is one of our most valuable resources. Wherever attention goes, energy follows. When you focus on a problem, your brain strengthens connections related to that problem. When you focus on worries, you strengthen those worry patterns. When you focus on solutions, you strengthen solution-related thinking. This doesn't mean you can magically think positive thoughts and solve every single problem. It simply means your attention shapes what your brain works on. That's why being intentional about what you focus on matters so much. A really interesting part of the book is the discussion about insight. Have you ever struggled with a problem for hours, then suddenly found the answer while walking or talking, driving, or showering? David Rock explains that insights often happen when the brain has enough space to connect ideas in new ways. When you're overloaded with information and distractions, it's harder for those connections to happen. That's why stepping away from a problem can sometimes be more productive than pushing harder. Many of us were taught that working longer is always the answer. This book argues that sometimes the smarter move is to create mental space. The book also spends a lot of time discussing emotions at work. Many people think emotions and work should stay completely separate. David Rock argues that emotions have a direct impact on thinking. When people feel embarrassed, ignored, or treated unfairly, the brain shifts resources toward dealing with that threat. The result is that thinking, problem solving, and decision making often get worse. This is where one of the most famous ideas from David Rock comes in. It's called the SCARF model. SCARF stands for status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. These 5 social factors strongly influence how people respond to situations. Status is our sense of importance. Certainty is knowing what will happen next. Autonomy is feeling that we have some control. Relatedness is feeling connected to others. Fairness is believing we are being treated fairly. When one of these areas feels threatened, the brain can react almost as if facing physical danger. Think about receiving unexpected criticism in front of others. Think about unclear instructions from a manager. Think about being excluded from a conversation or feeling like someone is getting special treatment. Those situations affect more than feelings, they affect thinking. Understanding this can help us communicate better with coworkers, friends, family members, and even ourselves. Another lesson I like is how the book explains behavior change. Most people assume that knowledge creates change. We think that if someone understands what they should do, they will automatically do it. But the brain doesn't work that way. Real change often happens when people discover their own insights. Instead of telling people exactly what to do, asking good questions can be more effective. When people arrive at their own conclusions, the brain creates stronger connections. That insights feel personal and meaningful. This idea is specifically useful for leaders, managers, coaches, parents, and teachers rather than constantly giving answers. Helping people find answers can create better long-term results. The book also talks about the importance of managing stress. A little pressure can improve performance. Too much pressure can hurt it. When stress becomes excessive, the brain struggles to think clearly, remember information, and make good decisions. That's why working harder under extreme stress doesn't always solve the problem. Sometimes the solution is improving recovery, getting rest, reducing distractions, and creating conditions where the brain can function properly. One thing I appreciate about this book is that it doesn't tell you to become a productivity robot. It doesn't promise secret hacks or magical shortcuts. Instead, it encourages you to work with your brain instead of fighting against it. Your brain has limits. Your attention is limited. Your decision-making energy is limited. Your focus is limited. Once you accept that reality, you can organize your work and your life much more effectively. You start protecting your attention instead of giving it away. You start scheduling important work when your energy is highest. You stop believing that constant multitasking is a strength. You create more time for focused thinking and fewer unnecessary distractions. And surprisingly, you often get more done while feeling less exhausted. If you're finding value in this summary, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. It helps Dassi Insights reach more people who want practical ideas from great books without spending hours researching for them. Before I wrap up, I want to give proper credit where it belongs. All ideas discussed here come from Your Brain at Work by David Rock. This summary is meant only to highlight some of the book's key concepts and is not for replacement for the original work. If these ideas interest you, I strongly encourage you to read the complete book. You will get the full explanations, examples, and research that make the concepts much richer and more useful. What I like most about this book is that it reminds us of something simple. Most of the time, we are not struggling because we are incapable. We are struggling because we are asking our brains to operate in ways they were never designed to operate. Once you understand how your brain actually works, you can make better decisions, focus more effectively, communicate more clearly, and manage your energy in much smarter way. Until next time, take care.